All right, folks, welcome back to Getting In, a College Coach Conversation. We're really excited to continue the conversation about the State University of New York system that we just started with Ryan. We're welcoming Tim Matthews, who is the Senior Assistant Director of the Buffalo Honors College, to the conversation today. Hey, Tim, how you doing?
Wonderful, Ian. Thank you for having us today. We're excited to be a part of the podcast.
I'm excited to learn much more about the University at Buffalo and the Honors College in particular. I want to let folks know, a reminder that we have a visual component to this podcast. And if you want to go find us on our Facebook page, you'll see how much Buffalo stuff Tim has. He's got a Buffalo shirt. There's logos and pennants on the wall behind him. Now, Tim, you've got a lot of Buffalo pride, is my understanding. And tell us a little bit about your history with the university, how long you've been there, and what your roles have been.
Oh, sure. Well, I've been here since actually 1999. I came here with my undergraduate degree, and then I went into graduate studies. So I've been a part of the university for just about 24 years. And I do bleed blue. One of my true secrets is, as an undergraduate, I spent about 4.5 years as Victory Bull, their mascot. So one of my aliases is my time here. When I finished my graduate degree, it was a master's of informatics. I shifted into working for the undergrad admissions office. So I've got a lot of experience working in that. I was there for about 6.5 years, did all the travel and recruitment that comes with it. And in 2011, I shifted over to the Honors College and have had the pleasure of doing kind of both an advising role. So I'm familiar with the curriculum and everything that students need to take from all different majors. But I also still continue my admissions and recruitment capabilities and responsibilities. So I get to kind of see the best of both worlds. So it's great because I get to recruit students into our program and then watch them walk across the graduation stage and go on into bigger, brighter, and more exciting things as part of that too. So
that's very cool. I think that's one of the things that we former admission officers are envious of. In some cases, we get to meet these great kids and we read their applications and maybe even conduct an interview. But then once they're students, it's a little bit harder to find them on campus because now we're looking for that next class. So I think you found a nice sweet spot there, Tim.
yeah.
Pretty cool.
That was the thing that really kind of appealed to me about the position when I came into here. And I've worked my way up to senior assistant director and really kind of enjoy the role. Like I said, I love it. I love everything UB. And, I'm originally from Rochester, so not too far down the thruway from where our campus is located. Yeah. But it's convenient and close to home if I ever need to get there for something too. So a lot of pluses.
That's great. That's really great to hear. Now I want to start with something that's probably a little bit more recent. And Ryan was talking us through the recent decision to appoint 2 flagship universities within New York, one down at Stony Brook, one in Buffalo. And I'm curious what the effects, if any, have been that you've noticed on the Buffalo campus as a result of that. Is it just now you've got a new designation, or have there been effects that have been felt at the campus for students and learning?
We've always kind of viewed ourselves as one of the flagship institutions, and being a SUNY research center. We're the largest of the public research centers in New York State. We've over 32,000 students now, both undergraduate and graduate population. If anything, it's really helped, I think, with our recruitment, hearing that we're a flagship, hearing that we're one of those kind of premier campuses in the SUNY system. And it just kind of validated that when the governor made that announcement for us. And we've seen record numbers of applications. I know SUNY did a free application week last year.
Mm-hmm.
It really helped and really kind of exploded with our application numbers. We're actually bringing in honors a record class. We were hoping for about 450 to 500 new students. We have 650 students that deposited as of May 1st. And I really do think that's a testament to kind of being more of a formalized flagship institute. So it's pretty exciting for us. Yeah.
So you said about 32,000 undergrads on campus?
32,000 total. We got about 22,000 undergraduates,
okay.
The rest being graduate professional students. Yeah.
Great. 22,000 undergrads. I'm guessing about 2,000 in the Honors College, given the class size that you just described. Is that more or less accurate?
Almost. So this is last year we brought in about 400 new students.
Okay.
We are going to hit 2,000. They would like us to be 10% of the incoming freshman class each year.
Makes sense.
So we've exceeded that. I think it goes to our recruitment efforts. And, again, I think our reputation is a big help too. Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about demographics. You might be the person to answer this question. I was talking with Ryan a little bit about in-state, out-of-state, and one of those cool initiatives within the SUNY system of being able to pay your in-state tuition at a state university of New York if you come from 8 states that are designated as partners in that space. What is the population percentage of New Yorkers at the university? And then how is that mirrored perfectly within the Honors College? Or do you find there are more or fewer out-of-state students within the Honors College?
We've increased our out-of-state enrollment. That's been a big plus too, because I think if you look at comparable states and in-state tuitions from other institutions, we're actually pretty competitive, I think, with some of the costs. Not every, of course. Some of those, that in-state tuition is really kind of really a benefit to some of the other schools outside of our state.
Yeah.
We mirror what the rest of the university has as far as out-of-state recruitment goes. I want to say we're roughly around 10%. I'd have to check with admissions to get the exact numbers. And it's roughly what we're at with the Honors College with our out-of-state student population here. So it's steadily increased. I think some of it's with the Honors College and the benefits that we can provide and the customized advising experience that we could offer. That's certainly a big help.
Yeah, I want to spend the bulk of our time talking a little bit about the Honors College experience, but we are an admissions podcast. And so I think sometimes it is helpful to talk a little bit about how the admission process to the Honors College might differ or ask for additional content beyond what is being requested with the basic university application. So what do students who are applying to the Honors College need to provide in order to be considered by you and your team in order to gain admission to the honors program?
Of course, usually students can apply to UB right now and most of the SUNY schools, either via the SUNY application or the common application. A bulk of our interest, the bulk of the students who apply are applying with that common application.
Yeah.
And to apply to honors, it's very simple. There's a separate additional essay. So you got the general essay when you're applying on the common app. And then there's a section in the academic section for us that says, do you want to apply to the University of Buffalo Honors College? If they check off yes, there's a very short answer essay. It's I think 650 words or less. That's it. And it's just, helping us to get to know the students a little bit better. A review of applicants consists of both an academic side of things. We're looking for obviously strong academics, GPA, Regents exam scores, final exam scores for out-of-state students. We don't really focus as much on serious test scores. I'm sure you're hearing a lot about this now. Yeah. It's really starting to become more, I don't know, of an option. It's been an option at UB and continues to be that for most of the SUNY schools right now, if not all of them. So we really don't focus as much on that. We are looking for responses and extracurricular activities and involvement. We like to see a diversity of involvement, some leadership experiences, perhaps, sports captains and section leaders in bands and orchestras and choruses and scouting. I mean, this type of thing is definitely considered as part of our review process. And then, of course, the responses in the general essay and then the essay to the Honors College as well. We also, if students are applying the SUNY application, we encourage you to reach out to us because we'll supply our supplemental application link. But I'm seeing a much smaller percentage of students applying with that SUNY app. I mean, people still do, and we're going to give you the same consideration that we would whatever method.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Is there a letter of recommendation component for applying to SUNYs?
There is, but I don't believe it's recommended for some schools. Yeah, I've noticed, at least with our applicants, some students provide them, some don't. I would say most of our applications have at least a counselor recommendation, a guidance counselor recommendation at the very least. A lot of them are coming with a teacher recommendation. That's helpful to us, but we do know that in some cases they kind of have a template, some of the teachers in the classrooms. So that's something we take into consideration. We don't hold it against students if it's some kind of you see a lot of that in some cases.
Yeah. Now, you were really, I heard you speaking a lot to extracurricular involvement and of course the essays, the way that students describe their experience in their own words. But it really, for me, underscores the fact that these honors colleges are communities, that you are bringing in students into a learning community that is in many ways quite a bit more intimate than what you might get at a larger university. It is a best of both worlds kind of opportunity when you look at an honors college, because you have all of the offerings of a major research university, but you still get the benefit of that more intimate community. I want to hear if you can speak a little to what that first year experience looks like and how students start to connect with one another, the role that advising plays for them, and core classes, if any, that students are participating in collectively that create a sort of common experience among students, regardless of what their major may be.
I mean, you hit it right off at the start. I mean, that community that we can provide. So when you got a large campus like UB, honors colleges across the nation can provide you that small college feel that maybe you can't get at a large research center.
Yeah, they're
You know,
fantastic.
my advising caseload is much smaller. I have probably between, give or take, probably about 70, 80 new freshmen that I work with each year. So
Mhm.
it's a much smaller caseload. We really get to know our students personally by name, and our communications with them, I think, are much quicker than a general advising office. Other advisors on campus and other institutions are going to have upwards of 150 plus, new students to kind of work with. It can be challenging into getting to know your students. It's harder for other advising units to do that. We're very fortunate that we have that opportunity. And I tell our students when we see them, we're going to know your name, know your story, say hello to you when see you in the halls. You won't be a number as part of our program. And the freshman experience kind of starts with our advising. We're just wrapping up our one-on-one and some of our group sessions for incoming freshmen, helping them to build and plan their schedules, register them for their first semester, kind of talking to them on some of those logistics about what to prepare for when you start here. But more than anything, I take time to, and we all do, we take time with our students to say, what are you doing fun this summer? Kind of giving that personalized attention that we care, because we do. We like to hear about some of the fun things. And I got 2 young kids at home, so it's tough to I can live out some of their adventures through their experiences, which is a big plus. But the next thing that we do is at the start of the school year, we have what we call a freshman kickoff.
Yeah.
And in that kickoff experience, that's our version of orientation. And it's more of a fun thing to get you excited to be here as a student, realize what it's like to be part of the honors community. We've got some breakout sessions. We give them some honor swag. We feed them lunch. We do our big letter H honors college photo with our freshman class, which you can see in a lot of our marketing materials and whatnot. And then when we shift into the fall semester, we start talking with them about their fall schedule and long-term planning and teaching them how to register, but also bringing in staff and advisors from their academic departments so they can make a stronger connection with them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, as you talk about that, I mean, it sounds great. I'm curious whether you can articulate or if you've noticed where the sort of core affiliation that honor students have is. Like, do they feel like Buffalo first, honors second? Do they feel honors first, Buffalo second? Is there any way of separating that? How do students kind of identify as they come into the university and start to cultivate this honors community?
Early on, I can see them being a little bit more closely aligned with honors. When they get to their upper level coursework, that's when we see them immerse themselves in their academic departments. Because as you get into those upper level courses, they get so busy. They get involved in research and internships and experiential learning opportunities. While they still have the resources and the benefits of honors, we really we see them find more time. And we want them to immerse themselves in their departments. But we tell them from the beginning, we want you to participate in honors, and we see this, it's kind of across the board of different experiences. Some students are really close to honors, are visiting our lounge almost every day, but there's other students that spend more time in their department and come see us when they need us. And that's okay with us. And we do want to let them know that these resources are here for them, like priority registration, and they get a faculty fellow in their second semester here as a freshman. So somebody to connect with early on, to get to know a little bit better and help them better prepare for upper level coursework than I ever could. I mean, some of these students here, they're all so bright. It's just amazing and really kind of blessed to get to work with them for sure.
One of the things that I think our listeners, I hope, are taking note of, that I think is a real hallmark of honors programs in general, but I'm hearing from Buffalo as well, is connection with staff, connection with faculty, knowing who you can go to, essentially figuring out how to navigate what is a very complex university system, and being able to find people who are go-to. And so this is why I always am a big proponent of honors college programs for students who feel like they want to take on the additional work, because I think that it's a fantastic opportunity. But I also think it's a good reminder for students who might not be a part of an honors college program to make those connections, to find faculty that they want to work with, because you can cultivate a kind of honors adjacent experience if you are going out and talking to your advisor and connecting with faculty members. You don't have to belong to the honors college. It's a great way to make it easier on you, but there are also other ways, I think, to get the most out of the university. Do you find that honors students have a better kind of Rolodex of skills that they can use as they're making those connections, because they've done that practice of connecting with staff and faculty early on as a sort of forced fun element of the program?
Yeah, I really do think so. I mean, with our graduating class this year, it was just so fun meeting some of our scholars. Like we have a Marshall Scholar this year,
Mm.
which is pretty prestigious. If you're familiar, maybe if your listeners aren't as familiar, that's basically getting a full ride to a British institution. I mean, one student's going to Oxford for free as part of that. And we're pretty lucky to obviously have that as a resource here too. Our academic director, Dr. Pat McDevitt, he's a history professor, but he's the Fulbright advisor for the entire campus. We find that early connection, being able to connect with Dr. McDevitt and some of our other faculty affiliated with their department gives them a leg up on some of these prestigious awards. Another student's a Fulbright winner. She's going to be going to Harvard next year on a scholarship. We see students go there, and we see students that stay right here on campus and stay right up straight through some of our PhD programs. So again, having those connections early on, but introducing them from the start and not finding out junior, senior year when in some cases it might be too late for them. We're able to kind of corral them into that, but teach them early on and provide those workshops right in our Honors College space, which I think is a big help. And not for nothing, they want the best of the best on our campus. They're coming here. They're coming to honors programs here and other colleges, universities to find the best and the brightest that the campuses have to offer.
I love your description of some of the outgoing pathways that are connected to academia. And we've got a little bit of time left. And I'm just curious if you can speak to outcomes, right? Because I think parents especially are focused on this. Students, of course, are as well. What does an honors college give me in terms of a leg up for my future career, for my future studies? How do you provide support for students in that space?
This kind of goes back to connections too. I mean, I've got connections with faculty, all of us in different departments and units here. Having Dr. McDevitt as a resource, Dr. St. George is our administrative director. Again, people who can connect you with others on campus, if not themselves, they can provide those resources. When I talk with students, I let them know and their families know that I'm working for you and I want to help you to carve your path to find out what is best for your future and your game plan going forward. So it's really important to me, and I want to see them be successful because what it comes back to is our recruitment. They see these students wanting success and they want to come here to our program. And, it definitely helps us. It makes it easier to bring the new class in and to help with retention. I mean, that's big too.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a good reminder. I think whenever you read press around admission processes, people are so focused on school ranking and they think about prestige, and what really matters is the effort that you put in, the connections that you make. And there are so many different opportunities that are available to you, and you can get a world-class education at University of Buffalo. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to go to a place that admits 5%, 10% of their applicants. You can actually go to a place that's much more rich in terms of its diversity and much more, I think, exciting in terms of the potential pathways that lie ahead for you. So, Tim, thanks for talking us through this. I think we could do this all day, but we're just.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's great to have you. When we come back next week, we're going to be talking a little bit about supplemental essays because it's the season for that. Tim, of course, referred to a couple of essays that are required for the Honors College, right? One additional supplemental essay. So we'll talk through that. We'll also start discussion about the activities list, which is where you can share the components of your resume. And it's important for those to come across quite clearly, whether you're applying to an Honors College at Buffalo or anywhere else. And finally, we expect that there will be a decision around student loans at the federal level. We're going to talk a little bit about those impacts for our student borrowers. So tune in next week when we cover all three topics. Until then, we hope you have a great start to the month of July, and all the best from our team at College Coach.